No cussing. Sally, I'm going to go ahead and open the annual general meeting very
All
quickly.
right.
I'll make some public service announcements, and then I'll throw it over to you to introduce the first presenter, who will be Jerry.
All right.
And then
welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining our Zoom show and tell. It's our we've been off the air for a little while, and it is very good to be back and to have you all join us tonight. New year 2024, and we're very excited about the program that we have that we are developing for you all. At this time, I'd like to introduce our president, Clint, to get the annual general meeting started. Clint.
Thank you, Celio. I declare the PHSC annual general meeting open. There will be an opportunity to ask questions at the end of this very brief address. For those of you who would normally attend our meetings in person, it's good to see you virtually, and we hope to see you in person soon. For those who are enjoying the PHSC experience for the first time, hello to you, and where have you been all our lives? We are a very friendly, highly collaborative bunch, and we don't bite. Please check out the benefits of membership and join. Contribute by researching and writing for our various publications, our website, and social media, as well as participating in many other events such as fairs and auctions. Please note that this annual general meeting was originally scheduled for December when it is normally held. We didn't have a meeting back then, so we're holding it today at a time and using a format that is permitted and encouraged by Industry Canada, those who regulate us as a federally registered charity. I'd like to start by making some general comments about how PHSC has done in the past year and to acknowledge the many people who are responsible. Please keep in mind that these people are all volunteers, and it is only because of their dedication that the society continues not merely to exist, but in fact to adapt and overcome in the time of, well, post-COVID. As president and a member of this society, I would like to thank all of those who normally volunteer and have been clamoring to volunteer, from the people who generate revenue for the society by volunteering as security at our shows and auctions, the folks who organize and run our fairs, which are a source of a lot of entertainment for our members and others, those who are interested in photography and the history of photography, who sign up and renew as members year after year, the writers, contributors, and readers of our publications, the photographers who record our events, the appointed members of our board who produce and send out a huge amount of information, both digitally and in hard copy form, to the eclectic group of volunteer directors who keep this society going. Our revenue generation this year continues to be through membership dues, both from renewals and new members, space rentals at the summertime trunk sale, table rentals at the 2 fairs, and the commissions on sales at 3 auctions. Our dedicated volunteers don't just sit on our board and simply look after their departments. They also normally come out and help at society events and contribute at every meeting. An especially warm welcome and thank you to the new and youthful people who have come aboard just in the last few months to consistently and measurably relieve some of the strain and to help perpetuate what the society does. Spring Fair, Fall Fair, under the long direction of Mark Singer, supported by a huge cast of volunteers. We normally welcome about 500 attendees and about 50 dealers who manage to cover about 80 to 100 tables twice a year at the Trident Hall, also known as the Pierogi Palace. Post-COVID, there's still a pent-up demand to buy, sell, and trade all sorts of equipment and images. It is notable that those retailers that are in a position to address the needs of photographers are enjoying a booming business as people are rediscovering their love for taking pictures and, in many cases, souping black and white film and printing their own photographs at home. The trunk sale. This summer, we held our 12th annual Larry Boccialetti Memorial Trunk Sale. It was held at the aforementioned Trident Hall on a beautiful Sunday in the middle of the summer. This event is a lot of fun. It's relatively easy to organize and run. Dealers and attendees like it a lot. Starts early, ends at a decent time, doesn't gobble up your whole Sunday, and the price is right for both attendees and dealers. Our archivist, David Bridge, will be making significant headway tidying up our library and managing to find new homes for some of the books we have in storage. David also co-edits the PHSC Journal along with Louise Freiberger, who is also on the board as recording secretary. Treasurer, we are doing well financially. Our books are very capably looked after by Treasurer John Morden, with continuous assistance from Judy Rowlick where needed. We are able to carry on financially due to the prudent management of our funds. Katrin Faradani is the editor of the PHSC email newsletter, and her first issue will hit your email boxes very soon. I'm sure you will notice the new and revised version of this monthly online publication and will come to appreciate how lively it is. Along with the website and social media, it is the source for the latest information. We are very pleased with the fact that the newsletter goes out to about 200 email addresses, with about 40% of recipients opening up the email, a very, very high percentage indeed. John Morden is also the general editor of PHSC Press. Watch for more publications in the near future. Awards are also something with which the Society is involved. The PHSC is now on the academic awards map, having established several awards to Ryerson, Toronto Metropolitan University students as an annual event. Their annual awards and other institutions have approached us about other awards. This serves to promote our society and ensures a steady source of material to our publications. Membership. As of date, we have just under 200 members, a department which is supervised by our new coordinator, Lily Schneider. Not sure if she's here. It's a tough task keeping and getting new members, and sometimes we have to inundate you with renewal notices. Now more than ever, it is important to renew your membership. For those of you who may be attending a PHSC for the very first time, welcome. At $35 for an annual membership, it is the best deal going. As part of your membership, you get the best journal of its kind in the business 4 times a year, as well as discounts and special opportunities for other events. Website. During a typical month, we get about 4,000 unique visitors who visit about 14,000 times, viewing a total of over 35,000 pages. Our website is now about 25 years old. Our webmaster, Bob Carter, has directed the site since the beginning. He personally adds an average of 1 post per day for a total to date of about 4,000 posts, a phenomenal amount. Bob is capably assisted by several helpers, most recently including Jerry Denaleko. Contributions from the public are always welcome. We will soon be adding new features to our website where we will archive and preserve the work of photo researchers, along with massive lists of all sorts of wonderful things that will serve other researchers for generations to come. Photographic Canadiana Journal, under the incredibly dedicated and meticulous direction of co-editors Louise Freiberger and David Bridge, we continue to publish a fantastic journal 4 times a year, a publication that continues to be held in extreme high regard, both throughout Canada and internationally. Story ideas and contributions are always welcome, and a big thank you to those who contribute regularly with well-researched articles. Program. Our monthly speaker series is organized by Celio Barreto. We've not been able to meet in person for many months, but we were hoping to get a hybrid get-together soon. What you will experience here tonight is the first of what we hope will be many programs going forward, be they virtual and then eventually live, hybrid. Our new Instagram influencer is Mina Markovic, running our new PHSC of Canada site. Although new, our numbers are growing, and we strive to reach out to yet another demographic, a younger one, interested in photography. We finished with the very popular Women's Crush Wednesday postings and now continue regularly with postings dealing with obscure, sometimes, and interesting photographers through history. Welcome aboard. As always, Mina welcomes your thoughts and contributions. Rounding out the board is Mark Singer, as past president, who contributes immeasurably in each and every PHSC meeting and event, including serving as our audio-visual guru at our events, making us all sound and look oh so good. Folks, that concludes my notes. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I hereby close this annual general meeting, and I would like to make some announcements about upcoming events at the PHSC. Here we go. I'll keep it short. It's a very short sheet. Membership. Please remember to renew your membership, $35, or if you pay $100, you get a deal for 3 years. The journal alone is worth it. You get discounts for other stuff. and membership does have its privileges. At the very least, go to our website and sign up for the email newsletter. Visit the website for all sorts of stuff like that. Membership renewals, membership sign up, email sign up, also to book a table for our show, and auction info. And 2 dates to keep in mind. Speaking of the auction, May the 5th, that'll be a 300 lot auction. We've already got 100 lots booked. If you've got stuff to consign, please let us know. Got a call this morning. That's going to be another 30 or 40 lots. May the 26th is our annual spring fair, Sunday, May the 26th. Keep that in mind. Other dates, July 14th, trunk sale. That's a lot of fun. Other dates that are not run by us, but by our friends. This Sunday is the Toronto Postcard Show. Don't miss that. March the 10th, the DC Image Show in Washington, DC. April the 14th is the Montreal Camera Show. April the 20th is the London, Ontario Camera Show. April the 28th is the rival Toronto show, Gary Perry's Camerama. We're good friends. We promote each other's events. Come out to that and come out to ours. And just announced October the 6th will be the Detroit show. Folks, that's it. I'm going to throw it back to Celio.
Thank you very much, Clint. All right. Well, we're now going to get started with our show and tell, the Photographica we love. And we have a number of presenters tonight with really exciting things to share and to show us. So without any further delay, I'd like to invite Jerry to start us tonight with her show and tell presentation.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Now, I was told that this is like just going to be a show and tell, basically, so
Yes.
no PowerPoints or anything like that. So this is what I'm going to show and tell. This is a Kodak 620 camera. Now, I found this, actually, my husband has a friend who has a boyfriend, and he had an antique store and they were closing it and they were selling stuff out. So he said, "You want to check it out?" I said, "Sure." So we went and checked it out, and this little camera, this really sweet little camera, was just sitting there on the shelf, and it was so pristine and it was so perfect. So here it is. This is an Art Deco camera. So I'm going to hold it up to I guess everybody can see it okay. I'm holding it in front of the camera.
Yep.
Everyone see that? Okay, so this is a Kodak 620 camera. It used 620 film, not that should be a surprise to anyone. It was made, the dates that I'm showing is it was 1932, 1933. I actually think it might have been manufactured until 1938. But they changed the design and added a few extra features in the later years. It's got a bellows, as you can see. It's got a nice little flip over viewfinder here. I'm not sure what they call that. Yeah, so you can see you can flip this up and down. It has let's go through the details here. The shutter speeds ran from a 25th of a second to 100th of a second. Plus it had T, plus it had B, and there's a little thing over here for a cable release. The lens itself ran from f6.3 to f32, so it had quite a nice depth of field on it. It used a codon shutter, which, as far as I can tell, I did find a patent date on the shutter at one point, and I haven't been able to find it since. But as far as I can tell, it was patented around 1929. So that kind of makes sense. It goes along with the 1932. The lens itself came from, the lens was manufactured in Rochester by Eastman Kodak, but the camera itself was assembled right here in Toronto. So there we go. And this camera, it's in remarkably good shape. There's a little rust spot on the bottom, and that's all I can see. And it's such a cute little thing. And I haven't, oh, and it's got a little here, if you want to stand it up on something, there's a little thing that you can, little thing that flips down so you can sit it on a table. I don't see anything on there for a tripod, so I guess you couldn't really put it on a tripod, which, okay, maybe that came with a later iteration. And works fine. I haven't tried it out yet. I would have to obviously spool some film in order to do that, which I haven't done yet. The winder is over here on the side, and the back is, you know, it's just kind of your standard back. It, you know, it opens up. There we go. So okay, so there we go. I don't know. Are there any questions about this? Really, it's a really sweet little camera.
Are you tempted to put a roll of film through it?
I have to spool it first, but yes, I am very tempted. And I actually, when I was looking into it online, looking for some historical data, I did find a couple of photos that somebody had taken with it or claimed they had taken with it. And I mean, they were quite nice. I mean, they were fine. There's nothing wrong with them. There's no focusing mechanism, obviously. Your focusing is, you know, based on, you know, going back and forth and moving in and out, and moving your lens around, just, you know, kind of estimating distance, which unfortunately is something I'm terrible at. But, you know, if it says 10 feet, you know, you move it over to the little 10-foot, indicator, and hopefully you'll be in focus. But yeah, that's what I could find on it. So I don't know, are there any questions, or I don't know if I can answer any, but I'll try.
Are the bellows in good shape? Do you think
Yes.
there no leaks,
Yes.
eh?
No, the bellows appear to be perfect. I don't even see a scratch or a mark on them. Again, I don't know if you can really tell. I can put up to the camera here. But yeah,
And-
they're in remarkably good shape.
And how's the viewfinder?
The viewfinder is not the best. Okay. You can't look at it. You can't look down like this. You kind of have to hold it at your waist, and then you can get an idea of what your picture is going to look like. But yeah, it's not the best. It was certainly something they could have improved on.
Terry, I think we have the same camera. Does it have a little plate underneath the lens assembly on the folding part that says made in Canada?
There's a little plate at the very bottom, and
Yeah.
that was where I found the information. I think I can't really read it right here, but yes, it does. It says, yes, it does say assembled in Canada by Kodak.
Yeah, I think we have one. I think we have one too. I think
By
that's
Canadian Kodak Company Limited. is what it says.
yeah. We have one.
Have one of those too?
Yeah.
Had you tried it?
No, but if you look at the latest Photographic Canadiana, there's a picture of it.
It's a lovely little thing, isn't it?
It seems to be like it has survived. These seem to look brand new for some reason. Maybe people didn't use them, or why that is from that era, but indestructible looking sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I say, there's barely a mark on it. There's one at the very bottom here. You can, I don't know if you can see it there. Right over there is a tiny little rust mark right by the screw over there. And that's the only mark I see on it. There isn't even a scratch on it anywhere. I don't know. It was depression. Maybe people handle these things with more care, you know. They weren't that cheap. I did find a price on it. Oh, one of the things I forgot to add. Yes, there were some accessories that came with it. Let me see if I can find those. And I can give you some prices too. So now these are probably American prices, so it could have been a little bit higher in Canada. But originally the camera sold for $38. And that was a little bit of money to pay back in 1931, 32, you know?
Yeah.
You could get, there are two types of tripods that came with it. They ranged in price from $2.75 to $5. And if you wanted to splurge for a case, that was an extra $2.70. You could also get, and I'm guessing this might have been some kind of a pod. It was called a codapod. And the codapod was for attaching the camera to a tree or a fence, or as they say, a similar rough surface. That sold for $1.75. And again, if your budget was a bit tight for $1.25, you could get an Optipod. Optipod allowed you to attach the camera to the edge of the table, a chair, or a fence. There was a release available for 35 cents. You could get a negative album for $1.25, and it could hold up to 100 negatives. For film, they recommended 620 film. That was all it said. It didn't have a brand or anything. And you got 6 exposures for a quarter. And if you wanted to splurge for an extra nickel, you could get Verichrome Pan, which also gave you 6 exposures. That was 30 cents. There was a portrait attachment. It was, this is funny. There was portrait attachment number 13, and that was $1.25. Now for filters, you could get skylight or a color filter, number 13. That was $1.15. And you could get a pictorial diffusion disc, number 13. And that was also $1.75. And you've got a manual, and in there was a table with exposure recommendations. So I mean, everything you could use.
Wow.
That's brilliant. Thank
That's
you very
pretty cool.
much.
Well, I just looked up what $38 in 1930 would be today. It would be $700.
Whoa.
Oh,
No.
This was not cheap.
no wonder they didn't use them.
Yeah.
We're afraid to.
I don't know, 1932, 1933. Wow, that was a pretty serious point back then.
Okay.
I mean, I
Well-
haven't heard these older cameras, and it is kind of interesting when you go into those calculators that will give you the prices back then. And and you look at them now, this thing costs like $75 or whatever. You think, oh boy, that's pocket change, that kind of thing. And then when you look it up and you realize that, well, these people were spending hundreds of dollars for a camera, like out of Sears catalog or somewhere like that. And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they were such important things to have.
They were.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you very much, Jerry.
My pleasure.
That was fantastic. Well, we'd like to now welcome all the way from Detroit,
Oh,
Cindy.
Okay, cool.
All right, take it away.
So now I gotta share screen, right?
Yep.
All right, let me pull this up. Okay. Uh-oh. Details. Okay. Oh, that's the end. I'm not supposed to give you the end. Okay, here we go. Try this. Okay, I did this for another group, and I just deleted the date. It was new acquisitions. So Clint asked me to do this. So here we go. I gotta do show to get away with the side stuff.
Oh, yeah, you want to go to slideshow up at the top?
You
Oh,
had it.
okay, good. Thank you. All right.
And then click on that, and then go to from beginning on the left.
Oh, okay, there we go. Shoo. Oh, there we go. Oh, I didn't know I did that fancy stuff. I must have. Or else Joanne Kraus might have done that. But I'm a sucker for Stonehenge, and this one came up on eBay, and nobody else bid on it. And I was pretty excited about it. So I don't think it was more than $50 US. So I was lucky, because usually they go for a lot more.
What period is this, Cindy?
I think it's like just pre-1900. It's a CD. Now it's a CDV. So See, I just put it away, so I can't show you the size. So there you go. That was when you could still walk around. They don't let you do that now. And what back in the day, when I was a waitress, that drove me back into college, we used to work till breakfast and work lunch, and then we'd go shoot pool for a little while. So I'm always hooked on pool room pictures. So you see the cigars in the back, the clock. I don't know what else is in that picture. The bar, of course. So that's got it. And feel free to interrupt anytime and ask questions. All right, now, where do I hit next? Okay, next. Here's another pool room picture. I assume that's a window because billiards is backwards up on the left.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know what's on the floor. Like really gross. But it's really interesting. There's no bar in this one. A lot of the pool rooms I've seen don't have bars, which I thought was fun. So I figured everybody was drinking. So,
Maybe the bar is downstairs.
Yeah.
yeah, could be. Could be. And then I was a waitress for so long. I was always fascinated with restaurant scenes because that was kind of new. People they used to eat at home. People came in from the farms, moved to the city, and they were hungry. Lots of bachelors. I love the fly paper hanging from the ceiling there in the upper right.
Yeah.
I thought that was a photographic problem.
I did too at first, but I figure it's got to be fly paper. There's enough. I have another bar picture. It's not in here, but the whole back wall is covered with fly paper. Like, ew, ew. And there's the ever-present cigars there where it was good for you. And I guess I can blow stuff up. Oh, okay. So now I got to figure out how to. Okay, I can escape. Because some of the pictures have really cool stuff in it. Then this one's real busy. I assume it's a liquor store, drugstore. So it's the flags, the booze bottles. I don't see any cigars in it, but so that was kind of fun. And this is one busy place. The gloves up at the top with the this Texas star in it. I don't know where it's from, but the wood burning star, the stove in the middle with the pot on it to keep the air moist. It's just a hopping place. And you got the talking chair down there in the front.
Mhm.
Here's another store with its jewelry, and it must be a drugstore too. And they have the big pipe across the top so that you wouldn't lose all the heat going out of the top. And I don't know what the big along the left like bar, there's that big long thing there. What is that, pipe? Who knows? Maybe for gas for
Mhm.
buildings. I don't know. They had everything, the clocks, and I don't know what the left there is that like a radio, like antenna at the very left. Oh, you guys got to know something. Speak up.
Hmm.
A lot of talking chairs in there. And this is a tight little place. It's like put a picture on that wall.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, there's Gumball Machine, and somebody could have smiled too, except the guy behind the counter's happy.
Yeah, he's closest to the cigars.
Yeah, that's it. He liked the smell. Back when
Ugh.
smoking was good for you.
Look at all those cigars.
And this was a fun shot. It's a little fuzzy. It's better in real life, but I love pictures of people living outdoors. And these people are having a good time. I like how they put everybody in the boat that's named Freak. Unless Freak, no, that's his Freak. And that guy with that fishing pole, he's pretty serious. He's got his knee-high boots on.
The guy beside him looks like he shoots the fish.
Yeah, it could be. And then I picked this one up in the following one at the flea market. And I thought this is like a lumber camp because there's hardly any trees. It's friggin' cold there. And there were 3 pictures in this, but I don't know what the third picture was. It must have been fabulous. And that's the crew in their shacks. And that's got to be the cook in the middle. Can you smell all those guys from here? Oh, man. And then this one I found in at a bottle show, and I couldn't leave it. Let's see if I can. Oops, no. How do I go back? Back. Okay, I figured that out. There. This was fun. It says flashlight photo by Nelson with Lion Studio. Okay, now escape. Okay. And there's a lot going on there. Oops, damn, excuse my French. Up again. I'll figure this out by the time we're done. Come on. Oh, well, we'll just quit. Okay, and this was another cool bar picture. I love all the deer heads, and you got all the camel girls up there on the right. And I don't know, is Canton Lucky? Is that like gum? I don't know. Or unless it's something to do with lighters or something, like flints for a lighter.
I like,
And
I like the Blatz beer sign.
yeah, and the spittoons on the floor. Pretty spiffy place. And this was kind of fun. It's a peanut vendor. It was a little faded. I didn't want it, but I buy it so much. But yeah, I don't see many of them. And I thought that it was nice that they put his obit with it when I found it. So local newspaper. And this guy looks like, he kind of looks like one of those, somebody from the Addams Family. But I really liked his upside down hat with his, whatever his drugs and his, of course, I can't remember the carafe thing in the back. But he looked, you look at his hands, how like arthritic it is too. You just want to sit down and have a talk with him. And you don't want to talk to these guys, they're dentists. I don't see very many dentist pictures. So, but that's at least they had the electric motors. They didn't have the kind that the guy pedaled. You skip that.
I love how they resolved the privacy issue. Not.
No, yeah.
My dad used to have my dad used to have an original dentist chair, and including the treadle drill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ugh, it just hurts thinking about it.
I know.
And then I found these two at the Toronto book and paper show. The dealer had them, was selling them separate. To me, they were obviously sisters. And then he had the friggin' price tag over the bottom half of the images. It's like, you really gonna sell these when you're covering up those killer bits of clothes? They're just amazing.
Wow.
So I don't know why one didn't have the whole mat, but they were really dirty too. But I just cleaned the glass and resealed them. I didn't do anything to the plates. But they're gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was just an eBay buy, I think. I'm pretty sure it was eBay, or also it was Facebook. I do pretty good on Facebook. Don't ask my husband. I'm not excited about that. But a lot of photographers would always say sewing machine agent on the back stamp too. And then I like photo backs that have the studios on them. So there's one of those. The front, it's like, oh, you could have washed your fixture out. And this one had a bunch of prices, speaking of prices on stuff. So this is probably what, 1860s, 70s? So those were serious prices for photos. 36 tintypes for 25 cents. CDVs, and then they don't really talk about cabinet cards, but I like the frame stuff too. Nashua, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And I thought he was a dapper dude. That's why I wanted him at first. And then I saw the back. I had to have it. And this is from where there was used to be a big monster flea market. It's pretty much now just a farmer's market. But this was like too cool. Look at the size of those trees. Taking them apart. And no earplugs, no safety stuff. With the big, that big belt in the back. Jeez. Hurts thinking about it. Here's another one, farmers. There's these steam tractors are real popular. I know in the US they have steam tractor shows. I have at least two in Michigan. And I guess there's a big one in Minnesota. But there's the whole crew sitting there. And then this one I got all excited about because it had the one-armed druggist. So, and then I know Watkins stuff usually runs close up or the price is up, but I never even saw that. And then somebody suggested this was a road grader. I didn't even see that. I just saw the team of horses. So kind of fun.
Either that or it scoops up the horse poop.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a big scooper. And then I love Gandy dancers. So, and there's 3 guys or 4 guys with a jug. So who knows what was going on there. And then I found this someplace. It just threw it in because it was so, it's like a postcard. So they push a silver dollar through that hole, and I don't know exactly how to do that. Somebody said it was a paper dollar, but I thought, and it's just silver, so I don't know. Any ideas? I'd love to know. And here we go. I saw this. This is what Marcel Staffier calls a walkie, where the photographers would take pictures on the street and hand you a ticket, and you go back the next day and get it. But I thought he was holding a cell phone. So it's like, duh, not that back then. So there you go, the end.
Do you see what's in the top left corner of that image?
The sign
Yeah.
says something in hats.
No, it says, okay, it's the last,
Oh, photos, yeah.
right? And right above it, it's studio,
Yeah,
Studio
there we go.
photos. Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Sharp
Somebody-
eye, sharp eye.
Yeah.
Then I can't give it to Marcel. So any questions, feel free.
That's neat. That's neat. So we should be on the lookout for pool room photos, some good occupational stuff.
Yeah, I like occupationals. I like the ones where they scratch out people's eye.
And
They burn a cigarette hole through their face. Ooh, that's a lot of fun.
and tintypes, right? Whitefish Bay. Does that ring a bell with you?
Yeah,
Is that in the UP?
Yeah, that's I didn't lose you guys, did I? No.
Nope.
That's up by it's just northwest of the Canadian Sioux. That's where the Edmund
Right.
Fitzgerald went down.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see. Maybe you can. Just a tintype, but the interesting thing is the sign that the guys put in the corner, and it's Conrad's Gallery, Whitefish Bay. I'm hoping it's UP. I looked up in Tinder earlier today, couldn't find anything about this Conrad, couldn't find anything about
Well, it's
Whitefish.
even now it's really desolate up there.
right. You
So
might,
it's got to be someplace in Canada, right?
not necessarily. I the only whitefish that I found
I don't think
was-
there's a fish
was
bay
in the UP.
Was UP.
Yeah.
Michigan.
So I'll show it to you when you come.
Okay, sounds good.
It's in my desk drawer.
So I hope nobody fell asleep.
There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah, what I was going to say about that dentist drill, it had a very small counterweight on it, so you really had to keep on pumping it. You know,
Ah,
But your dad didn't use it on anybody that you know, right?
no.
And
He
like
also had a barber chair too.
no.
Wow.
well,
Well,
at one point
Barbers
they-
were surgeons at the same time,
they
right?
were
For a while.
Yeah.
probably interchangeable almost at some
Oh,
Yeah,
point.
that
Two
one
different
of the
chairs.
guys I buy postcards from, he said the dentist and the barber did all that kind of stuff. They'd
Yeah.
have showers in the back for places for people, for men that didn't have or traveling. So
Number of years ago, I was at the Eastern Ontario Railway Museum, and one of the exhibits that they had there was the dentist car. And what this train
oh,
would travel up to all these remote areas in northern Ontario, and so that people could get dental work done because they didn't have dentists up there. And well, of course, my first thought was, oh my God, they're working on these people while the train is moving.
oh yeah. Well, that'd be like the photographer's car that was always on a lot of them on trains too.
That's right.
Well, that didn't happen, of course, but I mean, they were pretty primitive looking. They were pretty scary looking.
Yeah. Oh, that hurts again thinking about it.
Yeah.
Scary.
Fantastic. Well, Cindy, thank you very much for your presentation. Those were beautiful
Sure, you're
images.
welcome. I'll do it again anytime.
Great. Well, we're continuing our program, and this time we'd like to invite Mr. David.
Oh, me.
Yep.
Sorry. Okay, hello.
All right, take it
David,
away.
David,
Thank
did
you.
you get a new camera? Because your image is very sharp.
Oh, no, actually, it's just I don't know. It's it's not Rogers, okay? It's Bell, so it may be something to do with that. I don't know. No, it's actually a really junky Amazon camera that I bought. Hello, everyone. I haven't done this before, but so I'm trying to understand
Black book.
why I don't see myself. But anyway, I'm going to talk about this book that I found at a recent get-together sale. There's a character that sells books at one of these shows, and they have the really sensitive way of pricing that they're priced by size. So you may appreciate the fact that this was a $10 book. So this is like on the upside of the price scale for his stuff.
I
But
think that's what I paid him.
well, anyway, it's
You must really
a
like
delicately
it.
modulated way of charging for books. This this just caught my eye. What is it? It's a book from the 1930s. It's called, I apologize for not having scans, but this was sort of a last moment thing. Camera Conversations by, and I'm not seeing myself large, so by a photographer who's known as Jay, in quote marks, Jay. Jay was head of Beyonce and Shad with a single name for his artistry. And it's got a very nice little, whoops, sorry about that. A very nice little picture of the Quebec Bridge
Yeah.
on
we
the frontispiece.
Screen share it to us.
No, we can't because I don't have the scan because I found this is rather a last minute preparation.
We
So
see
what-
this perfectly. We see it
Yeah.
perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So who is this guy, Jay? Well, Louise has been working away, researching him. His name was actually Thomas George J. Cox, and that's maybe why he decided Jay was more. But this book was published in 1936. There's quite a bit of written stuff at the beginning. Just it's that kind of stultifying, and I'll use this word a lot. Text in 1936 you wrote to guide young photographers and things like that. He was apparently at that time staff photographer for Saturday Night Magazine, and for non-Canadians, it's a sort of a long live general interest magazine that went from the 1880s to 2000 and something.
included Robertson Davies.
And included a lot of famous authors, Robertson Davies. And what I haven't looked at the 30s ones because I haven't found them yet, but the 20s ones are largely, there's a lot of photography in them. So you could see where they used a staff photographer. They tend to go back and forth between art and kind of, they also had the society pages. So he apparently wrote kind of a photography advice column in them. But just to give you an idea, this is one of the pictures. This is Sir William Mulock. It's some Canadian hobnob. This is the kind of thing, this just makes me think of Canada and particularly Toronto in 1936 as being a sort of a combination of Victorian England and Oklahoma. You know, it just seems so stultifying.
That's Cherokee land.
Yeah, I know. So he got to go, Clint.
That's the Mulock Cup in front of him.
Well, so you know about this, I don't. What's the Mulock Cup?
It is awarded annually to the Intercollegiate Football Championship at the University of Toronto.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh,
has
okay.
been since it was the longest continuously awarded until U of T decided that football, well, too many people were getting their brains bashed. So now it's a rugby trophy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's so the faculty of pharmacy would win, or the engineers would win, and Vic would win. Yada yada.
Oh,
yada.
I see. The
Yeah.
caption says, taken on the occasion of the 1934 annual dinner of the Upper Canada College Old Boys Association. Now, the neat thing about this book too is every photograph has the exposure and often the film and developing
Oh.
time. So he seemed to use a lot of those. Another example of I guess if you're the photographer, and I apologize for the delay, for Saturday night in the 30s, there's this incredible picture of Eaton's and the Santa Claus thing. Now, Mr. J, as we call him, was a big advocate for small what he called miniature cameras. As a matter of fact, he writes in the long thing about how wonderful they are. He says, he never actually mentions, except once, the type of camera. He says, I am reminded by this compilation of my own personal experiences while learning to use the Leica camera, with which practically all the pictures in this book were made. The first Leica I had purchased secondhand from a dealer. Anyway, at this time, there were very few of these cameras in Canada. But what he says, which is kind of that boring, pretentious, sort of pompous, after close and repeated study of the instruction book, I took, during the first month, hundreds of pictures without once loading film in the camera. Well, good for you. Thus, I came to know thoroughly the mechanical parts of the camera, and when I did finally load it with sufficient film to take 36 exposures, I attempted indoor and outdoor shots, still life and speed work, and the only failures were caused by blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this is the kind of, it just somehow, I'm sure he was a much more interesting person than he sounds, but it just kind of, anyway, this was 1936. Again, these things are very Toronto oriented. I'm just trying to get my
About the
fingers
date of the camera that,
in the 1930s, and no doubt this is another classic 1930s Toronto thing, which is his picture of the ROM. Now, it is interesting because if you look at the format of this book, and I'll try and get it, the images are fairly small, and it's really classically laid out with a little caption on one page and a nice print. Because he was so careful and practiced his Leica, a lot of these pictures aren't that sharp as would be, I guess, with available light at the time. And he goes on at length about how wonderful this is. And there's one stage picture that I picked out. This is actually a Gilbert and Sullivan presentation in the 30s at the Royal Alex. So we got to go into some places for Saturday night and do some things. So that's about the story of the book. It's not that remarkable, but it's a real Canadiana sort of thing. A little bit, who was this guy, Jay Cox? Well, he was an English guy. He came to Canada through Hamilton. He spent a lot of
Hold on. David,
this keeps happening. I don't know why. I must have bumped. I'm moving my mouse away.
no, the host muted us because I was conversing with,
Oh,
with,
okay.
with Max.
Anyway,
we're
to
back.
go back to it, this guy, Jay Cox, he was an English guy, came to Canada around 1900s, 1907, ended up in Winnipeg, got married, and this is all from Louise's work. Spent some time in Winnipeg, as occupation was listed as an advertising writer. So this is in 1915. I didn't even know there were advertising writers in 1915, but apparently this was an occupation he gave when he joined the army.
He was as a assistant.
Yeah. So anyway, he spent some time in England in the army, didn't see service over on the continent. He spent his time in the payroll corps. And somehow after the war, he shows up in 1931 in Toronto as a photographer. So Louise, we're trying to find out what happened between his war service and suddenly then he's back in 1931. Here he is a photographer. And a few years later, he has an exhibit at the Toronto Art Gallery, now the Art Gallery of Ontario. And he produces this book, and he apparently is a kind of a lecturer and photographic know something around town. If anyone knows anything about this guy, Thomas George Jay Cox, Jay, let us know because it's pretty thin out there.
David,
Anyway,
David,
yes.
try the city of Toronto, the directory, city directories.
Yeah.
Used to have their address and their profession.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like to
yes,
do
I know. That's a very good resource, and I use them all the time. I just we haven't got to that point yet because we're not even sure when he showed up in Toronto. By 1931, he was.
Here he's in Winnipeg.
Yeah, but in 1931, he's a photographer in Toronto, so we don't quite know that.
Yeah, but you may find that online today.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, we've only just begun. This is just the start of this, tracking this guy down, but yeah, that's a good idea for sure. Anyway, he went on to produce this book. We don't know what happened after that. But the one interesting thing that we are looking into that there's extensive war records about his health. And he was in the payroll corps in London. He didn't really leave there. We're still absolutely trying to verify this information. So please don't tell this and if you're related to the guy, I'm sorry if this is wrong, but it seems that he injured his lip during
He went to he sought medical help because of a lip
injury.
Cut on his lip.
And spent some time in various hospitals, but also when he was released, they basically said he has a nervous problem, and they also said don't employ him anywhere near drugs because apparently he had a liking for or had abused some of the drugs. I assume the drug of the thing was morphine. So it's just interesting. You see the book, you think he's some Toronto family's scion who's gone on to photography. You see what people went through. They moved from England, they wrote copy, they went to Britain, they had a drug problem, maybe, if we're correct. And then they show up in Toronto and become basically a photographer for a major magazine. So it's an interesting story. And to finish it, he lived a fairly long life, I think until the 60s. When did he die, Louise? It's somewhere in here. Yeah, he died at age 75 in 1964 in Paris. Unfortunately, that was Paris, Ontario. But
He's buried in Paris, Ontario.
he's buried in Paris, Ontario.
I've been to Paris, Ontario.
Yes, so anyway, that's my story of Jay. Mr. Jay Cox. And if anybody can fill us in some more, I'd be glad to hear about it. And it'll be showing up in a.
And it's possible it could be not the correct.
There's always a risk in looking up
but
people in records.
Boy, did that doctor have scathing things to say about not letting this man near anything where he can get any drugs.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, World War I think, was not pleasant. So
Yes, and apparently it was unpleasant enough even in London.
I mean, my grandfather got gassed, so.
Yeah. And we're not even exactly sure how many wives he had. We're still sorting this out because it's a little bit complicated, but.
I think I eliminated one.
Yeah. Oh, good. And that's it. If anyone has any questions or.
We recommend the source of this book.
Yeah.
The agent that sold it.
And if you have to have one of these, there's one available. There's a Toronto bookshop called what's D&E Lake, and they sell maps and print.
Well,
They have a nicer
I'm sorry,
copy. It's a little bit more than our favorite bookseller charge, but that's it. So hats off to them. Thank you.
Terrific.
All right. Thank you very much. Big round of applause.
Just did you look on Abe Books to see if any copies there?
I'm not sure. No, I didn't specifically look to see if they had one. Sometimes they just turn up magically when you in the Google search, but I haven't.
This says library discard
Well, so that's
from Leslie Tucker in Elmwood and Willowdale.
So somebody, if your name is
1936.
Leslie Tucker, we have your book.
He is stamped with his name and address.
Yes.
All right.
Did they say what library it was discarded from?
It was somebody's private library.
Yeah. Just Leslie Tucker's library, I guess.
It's stamped in several places, Leslie Tucker.
Yeah, he quite liked it at the time. And I don't know what this,
It's a library call number.
there's a library
So
call
it
number.
might be a library discard that he bought as a library discard book,
Yeah.
but stamped it with his name and address.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Dave and Louise, big round of applause there. Now I would like to invite Mark to
Okay.
present. All right, please take it away.
Sorry, I disappeared for a while. I've got the free version of Hotspot Shield, and it keeps on saying I've reached my limit, and it wouldn't work on the computer. So I ran to my other computer, and I got the video after I did a couple of updates, but I couldn't get any audio. So I came back to the other computer, dropped Hotspot Shield, and I'm back on again.
Yay.
What I've been I've been collecting different things for a long time. And one thing I was collecting for a while was 16 mil projectors. And my mother was really complaining that it was taking up too much room. So she said I should look for something else. So I discovered this one, which is 9.5 mil, which is a format that was made in France. And it started in 1922. This is the camera they have, and it's and it uses 9.5 mil film, which is an interesting film. I don't know if I can show it to you on here. There's some reels of it, but you can see the sprocket holes are in the middle of the film, and that's what makes 9.5 mil kind of unique. So, and I was reading on Wikipedia and other things today that. They were either cutting them using, they were cutting 28 mil or 35 mil film to make the different prints of it. Because what the main thing they were using, what Pathé was using was for making homemade films, to be distributed to people. And one thing that the 9.5 mil films had was they would have an extra little slot in them, and what it would do would freeze the picture, when they were on title cards for about 5 to 10 seconds, so you lose so many frames on the thing. And if anybody has seen some 16 mil silent films, they have what is known as flash frames, and what they were taken from the 9.5 mil versions. And I was watching a movie last week, a couple of weeks ago, and they used some 9.5 mil frames for this camera. The other thing the camera had was one of them. It had a cartridge on it, so you could just pop it into the film, and then then you do it. And a lot of people, what they would do with the films was they could process it themselves, and it was an interesting format. And they originally made projectors, but they also made films too. And it was very popular in Europe from 1922 until about the 30s or 40s. And the thing for 9.5 mil, the reason why is that 9.5 mil with a center sprocket between each frame, it was almost the same width as 16 mil film, because it didn't have the sprocket holes at all, like on the side. So it was very, very interesting. And I have a projector made by Bolex from about 1950, and this is the spool from it with the center sprocket, and this projector would with little adaptations of the sprocket and also of the film gate. You could project 8, 16, and 9.5 on it, and it was a motorized projector. I have a couple of the projectors as well. Oh, and the other thing also with the film, it's hand wound, and it says 2 times per second. So what they do, and what people would say is they should do the Marseillaise, and that would do kind of a 2 times per second for the films themselves. It was an interesting format. And that Bolex projector was from the 50s, so it was interesting. There was people who were still looks like they had the old. 9.5 came out in Europe about the same time as 16 came out in US and Canada. Interesting.
Did it ever catch on in North America?
There are, because I've gotten quite a few of the films, like maybe people who came from Europe and something like that.
Mm-hmm. But generally everything that you had, like the Bolex is Swiss, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So generally, almost
all the equipment came from Europe. So I don't think any of the American companies, because they were very invested into 16, then the 8s, and then the Super 8. The Super 8 didn't come out till 65, and the 8 came out somewhere in the 40s. And with the 8mm films, what they used was 16mm film, and then at the end of the reel, they'd reverse it, and then they'd cut it up and make it into the films, the 8mm films later.
And all the spools that you have are also European, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, they're all Pathé reels, so yeah.
I guess they got not much hope of making a sound format film with that.
They did make with a magnetic track. I don't know. I've never seen them, but
yeah, huh.
But they would have to cut off a bit of the film itself, because
yeah,
like the picture, it does run right to the edge of the frame itself. Oh, and here's the cut. Here's the cut mark they show you. There's the cut marks they put on the side of the reel to stop them.
Oh,
so they only had about 4 or 5 of the still frames, because like they said, on an average film, which would be about 1,000 meters in length, with this way, it would only be about 300 meters, because there are so many titles used in most silent movies.
Huh.
And is it all black and white, or
yeah, it's all black and white. Yeah,
no color at all.
Yeah, and it's also, and they also use safety film too, which is so you can see on the reels it says non-inflammable.
So basically French, right?
Yeah.
English?
What I think maybe some companies, maybe some English companies made them, but I don't know much about them. So
did when 16 was starting up in the US, did it start up like in the UK as well?
No,
it never did, eh?
Not that I know of. Yeah.
Fascinating.
But as well, with the 9.5mm film, you're using about half the film size, so the stock and everything like that would be a lot cheaper as well. Yeah. Processing.
Terrific.
All right, I'd like to invite more questions from the floor.
Could you explain again how the 2 frames per second? I mean, they were shot basically typically at 24 frames a second.
No, it was.
So do you mean they only shot 12, but they repeated each one?
No. This is a manual wind camera, so you have to run it two times a second around to keep up the 14 frame. You have to rotate the when you're taking the pictures. You have to rotate.
Mark, what's the date of the camera again?
About 1922 it started. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it had only a sports finder on it. And it was a 20mm fixed focus lens.
Who made that one, Mark?
This is Pathé as well. Yep. Yeah. So you can see the cockerel. That's the Pathé mark.
It's interesting. They eventually were closely linked in France with Kodak. Eventually.
Yeah.
This is way before that, I think. Kodak had some sort of business arrangement with them. This is well before that.
And one of the projectors I has is manually run as well. So,
Mhm.
but I have a second one which is which has a motor on it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, thank you, Mark, very much. Big round of applause. And now I'd like to invite Clint to step up and share with us a really cool object.
Very cool. Thank you, Salio. So I go looking for interesting things, and I found this, and it's sort of in line with things that I look for that have to do with early flash photography. I think a secret part of me simply likes to blow stuff up. Odd stuff, funny stuff. Early looking flash equipment is often really scary looking. And then, like, can you imagine igniting this? You've probably seen in the movies where, you know, you've got the photographer and he's holding this T-shaped thing, and it goes off, and you know, you wouldn't do it indoors because you get lots of smoke and flash and probably burn the place down. Although there were many stories of early studios burning down because of the carelessness of photographers and magnesium flash. There have been, Hollywood has taken, you know, this, you know, I think King Ralph, the whole premise there was that there was an explosion while the royal family was being photographed, and 256 members of the royal family were, well, they met their end, and King Ralph became king. Anyway, this is the Chelsea Flash pistol, and I guess for some reason they wanted to make something that looked like a pistol. It's got a handle and a trigger, and you simply, well, obviously you load it before, but you pull the trigger and that happens. And there's a little mechanism in here that creates a spark when you pull the trigger, and it's got a cocking mechanism as well. So you pull the trigger, the lid pops open, and at the same time the spark ignites the magnesium. And it's kind of interesting there, you know, advertising is you know, kind of bizarro. It says, halt, the Chelsea Flash pistol doubles the use and value of your camera. I've researched that and I haven't quite figured out exactly how it does that. And ensures a good picture every time, no matter what the light may be. So they're solving the problem of taking pictures with low ISO films and lousy, or back then average, lighting conditions. Greatly lessens the smoke, smudge, smell, and danger of flashlight work. In a later ad that I've got, that line has been changed to practically eliminates the smoke and danger of flashlight work. So I guess maybe maybe there was a lawsuit. You never know. Does away with the strained, startled, or expectant expression and blurred effect of ordinary flashlight pictures. Well, I got to tell you, if it were me being photographed and this darn thing is in the room and it goes off, you'd get more than a startled expression from me, or me running for the door, or a fire extinguisher or something. I don't know. Carried in the pocket, ready to take instant advantage of favorable positions, expressions, or conditions. Yeah, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think I'd carry this mild explosive in my pocket, no matter how I want it to be ready for things. I did see an ad where this is wonderful for babies, children, groups, interiors, etc. Now, babies, you don't want that startled look. Children, they'd be running for the hills. Groups, you know, collectively messing themselves. Interiors, think so. I don't think I'd set this off inside. But anyway, and sold by all dealers or sent by express prepaid with directions and supplies for the princely sum of $2.50. Now, like you can't beat that, right? $2.50, which probably is what now, 100 and change in net present dollars. Now, the interesting thing, and I know there's a bunch of y'all visiting here from Michigan, and hopefully somebody can come up with the connection here because I know it. It's called the Chelsea Flash Pistol. Guess where it was made? Come on, you Michigan people, chime in.
It's got to be Chelsea, Michigan.
100 Main Street, Chelsea, Michigan, which is just
Where's Bill Kristen when you need him?
You know,
He lives there.
well, there you go. In
Mr.
that's right.
Jiffy cornmeal mix.
That's right, just west of Ann Arbor, which is just west of Detroit. So here you go, and it's fascinating. It's you know, if you go online, it says it's rare. Well, you know, and there's a couple on the flea
I
day.
want to know how you got that across the border if it came here.
Yeah,
Very carefully.
very, very, very carefully. You don't tuck this sucker into your carry-on the plane.
No, but
that's
you know,
just-
you were talking about the pistol grip. That's
Yeah,
really something that was already in existence.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it fit and it worked.
I remember I showed this to the group once, and I think it was John Morden who mentioned that he'd seen one at an auction site, but it was an auction site that had to do with firearms. Because you know it does look like a pistol. It looks like a very cute little pistol grip.
Did they know what it was?
Well, yeah, they did, but they thought it was sort of pistol form enough to be in the gun auction. Period is I've seen one record that says as early as 1895, but generally these ads are from about 1902 to about 1905. So that'll give you an idea. And it's very simple. It's a thing of beauty. I think it's gutta percha grips, nicely made and fancy. And I'll put that on my gun wall, I think, and, or scare the crap out of people. There you go. Questions? Let them rip.
So is that where they got the term flash gun?
As a matter of fact, I guess, right? I own a lot of other flash guns. This one looks the gun-ish.
Yeah.
But a lot of them do seem to have, you know, a very cute pistol-like trigger, right? Although that's just ergonomics talking, right? Where you just stick your finger in there and squeeze. You know.
What was the powder they'd use in them?
It's a magnesium magnesium blend and carbonate something or other. It's quite effective. I remember once having something similar. I was coming back from picking things up in the US, and I stopped in to visit Bob Lansdale to show off my latest acquisitions, and there was something very similar to this, and I very, you know, just said, I wonder if the trigger still works. I wonder if the flint still works. I wonder if it'll still, actually, I was thinking enough of that. I just pulled the trigger. And not only did the spark work, there was still a little bit of powder left over. I tell you, the surprise kept his heart ticking for another 7 years. So, yeah, it's quite a surprise. Even if you see a little spark go off, it's a little scary. It's a lot.
What period is it?
I've seen records as early as 1895 and as late as 1905, with the majority of the stuff from about 02 to 05. I think the 1895 might be a little bit of an early estimate, but I may be wrong. So that 10-year period around 1900.
Flint, is that Flint activated?
This one is dull, so it
Is what?
rarely it's dull. It's not this one does not go off. No. So I'm pretty I mean, it's pretty safe. Which is
No,
kind
but did it, no, my question
Oh, yeah.
is, physically, did it work with a flint?
absolutely yes, very much almost identical to a modern cigarette lighter, almost identical. The ones that I've seen, I mean, you could get at your friendly local photo retailer not only the little magnesium discs with a wick coming out of them, also the flints to recharge these things. They just wear out after a while, right? So yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that's the guy that the man that taught at Eastman House went to the top of a downtown building because he must have taken that thing with him. I don't remember his name, unfortunately, because he was really and I made a video of himself using such a thing. He went to the top of a downtown building because there was nobody there.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
so nobody would see him doing
So
it.
nobody would maybe see him
Yeah.
do it. I
You
don't
know,
know.
I'm-
And because it was dark.
I've always thought of recording a presentation for all of us, setting off some of the various little bits of powders that I have in various little glass bottles, and I thought, you know, I do it in the backyard on a nice summer night, but then I realized that you know, ever since the last little incident, all my neighbors have like the fire department on speed dial. So I'll have to find a rather more remote area to do that.
Are you on an approach to Pearson too? That might
Well,
be a little
as a matter of fact, it's like
dramatic.
come this way and all of a sudden have a 747 landing on my residential street. Although I hear that happens in Florida a lot more than you
Yeah, of
expect.
course. Yeah.
If you're anywhere near the I-75. Sorry, maybe a little too soon for that.
Which is a good thing to keep away from.
So there, yeah, but very cute. Very
Neat.
cute. It's a cute. So there. All yours, Celia.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Clint. All right. So, are you gonna load it with powder?
Yeah. Figure powder and some popcorn kernels or something like that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that presentation. And now I'd like to invite our last presenter of the evening, Lauren. Take it away.
Greetings, everyone. Nice to be here again. I hope everybody had a good February, and thanks for being here with me. I just collect cycling material, some of you know, and my cycling photographica collection includes, notwithstanding photographs and stereoscopic cards, some cameras and stuff. I have a sidebar collection, and that is picture frames that were contemporary and that were figural or lithographic that were original to the era. And another thing I've got, so I'm gonna show some pictures of those. And I also have a little group that I'm writing for a cycle history journal, and I'm doing, the article is on multi rider propelled by multiples of riders. So you could have 2 riders and 6 people on it. I still consider that a tandem for 2 people. So I'm going to show the pictures that relate to these, and I hope you enjoy them, and I'll talk a little bit about them. And we're going to see if the tutorial of Celio and Clint worked or maintained in my gray matter. So. Is that working now?
Yep.
No?
Click on one. Oh, perfect.
So these are called monocycles, And this is about 1897. This is an American photograph, and obviously limited popularity. But you couldn't roll over and fall over and hurt yourself, so it's quite an unusual image. And I just want to ask, is this in the way? Do you see this?
Perfectly.
So
It's perfect.
now, no, what I meant was there was a bar.
No. We can see the image clean,
Okay.
unobstructed.
Do I want to go wider than this?
Nope.
Or is that
You're
fine?
filling the screen pretty well.
Okay. So this is called the sociable. It looks like a tricycle. We generally call them tricycles, but there's a wheel there, there's another wheel there, and that is generally in case the vehicle tipped backwards, it stopped the riders from going backwards. And these guys, they seem to have their faces frozen so that they wouldn't be blurred. So that's a side-by-side sociable cycle from rugby in England. And
what
a
are they
lot of sorry?
What are they holding on to, like, for dear life, right by the wheels?
Here,
the brake?
He's got a brake. Here he's got rack and pinion steering to the front wheel. He's got a brake also. And she's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit, so. And Stonehenge, obviously, but there's no chain, there's no cranks. These are geared, if I can get the magnifier.
Well, if you like, it shows it on the screen as being only 62%, so you should be able to magnify it a little bit more.
Little plus thing to the right of the 60 at the bottom right corner, Lauren. See it at the bottom? Take your cursor straight down. Well, maybe that's my cursor. Yeah, it is. Up a bit. See where it says 60?
It's not here.
Okay. Well, we can see
so
it pretty darn good.
I wonder why we can't see it and you can't see it.
Anyways, that's gearing. So there's a chain wheel there and a chain wheel there and a third one, and that propels the trike. So and this here's about 1881, and the very late 1870s to the end of the 1880s was the golden era of tricycles and the development. And my comment that I always bring up in these photographic presentations that's very important. We see these as odd and unusual vehicles, and they are to our eyes. But these are exactly what developed into the modern bicycles as we know them in that industry today. So this image I recently acquired. It was from France. It's called an Olympia, that was the maker, and it's a quadricycle. He looks like he's at a sporting event, and they are dressed in similar clothing, and most of these were tricycles, not quadricycles. So this is Ignace Schwinn, the Schwinn Bicycle Company. This is he, his wife, and their child. And the bike was constructed, the frame was constructed to be longer than most of the tandems, obviously, in this case, to hold their child. This is called an Eiffel Tower bicycle. There's a chain wheel there propelling it to the back. There's another one that goes up from there to down, up and down, so that both of them were propelling the vehicle.
What's the practical use here, Lauren? It just seems that this would be awfully tippy.
I'm sure it was. There was, I think this was in a magazine, a London journal from London, England. They did call it the Eiffel Tower bicycle. And I think it was another thing that was created. Whoever created it thought he was going to have the next Apple computer. I'm really not sure about that. But they were tall bicycles that were used for lamp lighting. And I have pictures of them as well. But they were not in tandem, and he does not look like he's working. He looks like this was created more for tourist cycling. And here's two bikes, obviously, but they're constructed, they're attached. And these look like they were Swiss or German. This is about 1916 military cycling. A lot of these were used in the Russo-Japanese War as well. These were common, but I think this is a European photo. And those are all for two. This is for three people that were riding. So there was one person riding here and two people here. And this was used in a theater show, the Theater de la Gaieté. It was in France, and it was produced. This was produced by the first company to put pedals on bicycles commercially, called Michaud, and this was also for like a carriage person. So, but this was a theater vehicle, but this is a three rider vehicle. That was 1869. This one's about 1881. And you've got, again, three riders, and they're propelling the vehicle. This is English, and it looks like constructed similar to a high wheel or penny farthing bicycle. And here's another three rider vehicle. This is about 1884. It's quadricycle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is an albumin image. And this is Mrs. Dursley Pedersen. Wouldn't mean anything, but her husband had the works in here, and these were the Dursley Pedersen bicycles. You can see the construction, just like bridges, the construction with the tubing, the thin tubing. Again, three is sort of an important photograph for aficionados. Now you go up to a 4, and this was constructed by a company called Timberlake, and I wouldn't be surprised the English name that it was some relation to the famous pop musician today, but that's who the construction was, by Timberlake. Justin.
What's that on the very front?
Oh, that's a carrier, lamp, and a rear lamp. And these guys were clubmen, and those would have been the badges for the cycle club.
Is that a small wheel right at the back, just above the lamp, or just a lamp holder?
It is, but it's really not used for anything except if there was, let's say, 1 or 2 of these riders were off and this tipped backwards, that just stopped the bike. It wasn't for going faster. Or so this was a Dunlop race from 1897, but I was looking over here. This was at the Crystal Palace in London. And so here you've got 5 riders. You saw 1, then 2, 3, 4. Here's 5. And here's another, that one. This was done in Boston in 1896. This is a tintype at Asbury Park, which is in New Jersey, roller and toboggan chute. And here you've got 6 riders. And this is called a wolf. Like if you had, these are all attached. And if they were single, if they were just the 2 riders together as one bike, that was how they were commonly found. This is quite very unique image. I've never seen anything with that bike, but this was called a Wolf American. And here you also have another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they were all up close like that for the drafting, because they'd have a bike racer running behind them so that they would draft and the guy would be able to go faster. And this is
wondering, sorry, Lauren, did they use pneumatic tires, or were they solid core tires? Because they don't seem to be distorted much. With all that weight on it, you'd think there'd be a hell of a high air pressure if they were pneumatic, but were they?
Yes, they were pneumatic at that time. Dunlop never invented the pneumatic tire. He was considered the inventor. A Scottish person by the name of Thompson invented it for carriages in, I think, 1838. And Dunlop did it about 1887 or 88. And he reinvented the pneumatic tire. He made it popular, but his patent was nullified. And where the company made their money was they had a stock float, and they made a fortune on the stock float, but they did it with 2 patents that they bought that were not Dunlop invented patents. It was an interesting story. Anyways, this is Orient.
How did they, sorry, just on that, how could they possibly inflate those tires to that the kind of, that must be 100 pounds or more per square inch, must be extreme things to not have them distort, flatten more when they were on the hard surface in your last couple of shots.
Well, based on my understanding, the wider the tire, the less the pressure. So when you've got a small, narrow tire, you'll have 120 PSI. But if you've got a larger tire, you've got, let's say, 50 or 60 PSI. So that answers you without answering you. Because I don't know what the pressure was on the tire.
No, I understand. But there would have been filling stations or something, or do you happen to know? Sorry, I mean, I don't want to hold it up, but
well, if you're saying filling stations for tires, no, they were pneumatic tires with rubber casing. And
so there were no, you had to do it. It was all by hand pumping at home,
or at the track. I mean, if you mean by home, was it portable pumps? The answer is yes, but they were hand pumps.
Okay.
It would not have been. It would not have been onerous, but the original Dunlop type tires were, the tire was wrapped around and onto the rim, like going around like that, and they called them mummy tires. Well, if they had a flat tire, they had a real problem, but it wasn't too long till they had detachable tires of different types.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lauren, what would be the reason for putting 10 people on one cycle?
It was relative to the last, the photograph before that. They had racing and they had a bicycle rider behind the racer. If anybody, you can I'll gladly give you my email address if you have anything, any types of specialist requests. But if you write me and ask me for a photograph with multiple riders and somebody behind them or any wording like that, I'll be more than pleased to get you a photograph. I have them, but it was so that the rider behind the group had drafting, which is what they still do today with getting things to go faster. And when Mile a Minute Murphy broke the mile a minute on Long Island, he was drafting behind a railway car.
Oh,
And this image was for the blind. All these were attached. There's other people beside, he's an independent rider, but this is at least 10 riders here. So now, so I'll be able to show you, or maybe you can see it, but it's quite large.
wow.
And
Yeah.
it's like a felt. So this is just one of the sidebar, one of my collections is just different thing related to cycling photography. So this here is a small group, probably most of the ones I have, not of picture frames with bicycles, but are specific illustrated of or created with forms of cycling. So I'll go through a little bit faster. So that's felt, that's circa 1886, 87. A chromolithograph, mid to late 1880s. And this was a photograph album page because on the back of it, there's room for 2 photos and a different picture. So this is pyro work. There's a special word for it, but there's the bicycle. And that's we did that as kids. We got the little pictures. This is late 1890s, early 1900. This is not 3-dimensional, but it's like puffed out trees and she's elevated, but it was more pressed paper. And it is a proper picture frame. And there's a easel stand behind it. This is bronze, all this. It's a casting, it's heavy and thick. It's never been cleaned. That's the original patina. And by the way, you can see the sizes with all of them. And this is an economic stamped out one. That's just pretty chintzy and again, late 1890s. And these here are advertising. They are actual, and this probably the word doesn't exist, but easeled picture frames. They were advertiser for the biggest bike maker in the United States, Columbia, which was the Pope Manufacturing Company. This one and the next one were our chromolithographs. And so here's a male and here's a female. And they were made as picture frames. So that's it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much. It's a fantastic collection.
Oh, yeah, what a deal.
Huh.
I love the frames. Wow.
Oh, unreal. Thank you, Lauren. That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks everyone for sharing. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Lauren. Jeez. Yeah, you got more stuff than it's amazing.
It's always got more new
and
stuff.
50. I've collected it for over 50 years, whatever. So, how do we get to the? Oh, there we are. Good.
And you're back.
All right.
Actually, I
So-
see a name on there, Lindsay Lambert, who I first communicated with probably about 40 years ago. If you
Oh,
remember.
I saw Lindsay coming in. Hello, Lindsay. How are you?
Unmute, Lindsay.
Speak a few syllables.
Yeah, hello there. I'm trying to get the video, but everything's being very bulky.
Wow.
So, any other questions? And I'll thank you.
Oh, that was great.
fabulous.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Are you doing any other presentations in the near future that we should be aware of?
There we go.
I'll be doing. Hi, Lindsay. I'll be doing one for Australia, a Zoom one in Australia.
Hi.
Will you
Oh,
let us
cool.
will you let us know? So
Yeah.
it'll
That one that we did for Rochester, the library in Rochester, had over 500 views.
Wow.
That was the most that I've ever had. It's really quite good.
Fabulous.
So what time are you going to be presenting to Australia?
7 in the morning,
7 in the morning. Okay.
6 in the morning,
Oh,
our
really?
Jeez.
our time, which is
8 o'clock their time, or 7,
like a
7
week.
o'clock
8
their
o'clock
time.
that's 8 o'clock in the evening their time.
like
Yeah.
a week from Tuesday. Like
It's a historic cycling history.
No, it's 14 hours behind.
oh boy.
Not Perth.
Ahead.
This is in Perth, so
Yeah.
it's 13 hours.
13. Okay.
Okay. And what's the date, Lauren?
Oh, it isn't settled yet. We've just agreed to do it.
Okay. Let us know, eh?
And the last one I did, I got paid for it, but I donated all the money to a museum in Buffalo. All the money went to the Pierce. If anybody ever wants to go somewhere fabulous, it's the Pierce Auto Museum in Buffalo, New York. And if you don't know where it is, it's off Elm Street. But just one of the buildings was $10 million construction. It's not a small museum at all. Fabulous museum.
Pierce Auto Museum.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll give anybody. J.N. Pierce. Yeah, it's the Pierce Motor Museum or Auto Museum.
Does that have anything to do with the Pierce Arrow automobile?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but it's named after it. And his collection has got lots of Pierce cars. I think he's got the vault from the factory and clothing and from the baseball team and all that stuff. But he's got phenomenal automobiles there, everything up to like the special racing Corvettes and Duesenbergs and all that fancy stuff. And bicycles and motorcycles as well. And it's really, you can see it easily in like a morning or an afternoon or something. But it's really nice, first class.
Their website has a great landing page.
Pardon?
Their website has got a great landing page when you first go up there, with the lights coming on the front of it for Shay's Buffalo Theater and, little stars twinkling on the top.
Yeah.
They had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. Just a sidebar story for that. I donate money to my Lions Club or to different things, but with that Buffalo incident, they had agreed to the amount that they would pay me. And I don't charge people to use my photographs if they're cycle historians. But if they are a public institution or something, And at the end of the month, I've got some pictures gonna be on a PBS show, which is sort of fun. But they wanted to fill out income tax forms for the United States. And I didn't think I wanted the money as much as a prisoner number, so I didn't think I'd ask for any money. I just told them to give the money to the Pierce Museum, which they did. That's how, but the world's changed, eh, everybody? We don't have the same life anymore.
Correct. Oh, well.
But
Good.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for each one of your presentations this evening. And I want to thank everybody who came out tonight. Give yourselves a big round of applause.
And may I show something fun?
Yes, of course.
Okay. How do I make it big on the screen?
Okay, so what you can do is you can select the speaker view, and there you go.
How do you do that? I'm
Top right corner, Lindsay.
I'm not very computer savvy.
Okay, go to the top right corner, Lindsay, and you'll see view, and just click on that. And the first one is speaker view. It won't necessarily be you.
You
But
want to leave the meeting now. Better cancel.
you got it, Lindsay?
Yeah.
Do you just want to hold something up? and
Yeah.
show us,
What
or
do I go to now?
Okay, just hold it up and
It
talk.
says speaker view, gallery view.
Just click on-
Speaker
click on-
view.
Go click on speaker view. Yeah. And then just hold up whatever you've got and show us and just talk. We'll see you. Even though
Yeah.
you may not be.
Okay, because I don't see me.
Oh, but that's okay. That's okay. If you say something, we'll see you. Just talk as you would normally, I think.
Okay.
It just says wherever you are, your bandwidth is low. So, but just go ahead.
Okay, what's that?
Can't see anything.
Hold on.
it looks like a slide goes behind it, Lindsay. Is that correct?
There we go.
Okay, so there's
Not
that
not a
lever.
slide. It says a rubber pad. If you put a slide in it, you'd see it dash it.
You see what? What
Here,
happens?
I'll show you.
Okay. What on earth is that?
Is there a slide
It's a
go on
cameo
top of
press.
that and there's light underneath?
It's a
For
cameo press.
making the carte de visite.
Right. So it
Wow,
sort of
cool.
it presses out an oval, right? In the cardboard. Is that correct, Lindsay?
Yeah. You put the cabinet or you put the carte de visite in it, and here.
That
Slide
thing
the
looks-
carte de visite in here, and have the image area where the oval is, and then you move this lever, and it compresses the card upwards, and then leaves your cameo.
That must weigh a ton.
That's really cool.
That must be really heavy, right, Lindsay?
Lindsay, is it marked what it is? Or did you have to figure it out or no?
Not terribly. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't get that.
Is it marked the maker and what it does? Or did you have to figure it out?
No, it's not marked at all. I found it just recognizing what it is by how it functions. But then I found this. It says only $6 for the best cameo press on the market. The photograph is in the site during operation. The card may be pressed almost instantly. And it's stopping to adjust complicated for in the United States on trial. If not satisfactory, money refunded. It says J.N. McDonald, manufacturer and trade agent, 519 Broadway, Albany, New York. On the side of the illustration, it says patent applied for, but there's no patent applied for on the piece of equipment.
Very cool.
Hello, Clint.
Hey, how are you, bud?
I'm doing fine. My wife and I have truly enjoyed this presentation. And I will see you in Washington.
Yes.
And we really appreciate the invitation to watch this presentation with everyone. I especially know Lauren from past correspondence. But I just want to know that you will have my membership in the Canadian photo group, and I will give you my membership fee and application in Washington.
Brilliant.
So thank you very much. This has been wonderful.
You are always welcome, you and all your colleagues, all our friends from Michigan and Ohio.
And then we had Ron from Massachusetts, and we had Carol Johnson from Colorado.
I saw that. I saw that. Thanks for dragging him in, screaming and kicking.
Yeah.
And I'm from Rochester, New York,
Oh,
Sorry?
good.
too.
Sorry, who's from Rochester?
I'm Sharon Blumendahl.
Oh,
Sharon!
Sharon,
Oh
hi,
my
how good to
goodness!
see you.
Holy smokes! It's been a while.
You're sitting in
Yes,
the
it
dark. That's why we couldn't recognize you.
I don't like the light in my eyes.
That works.
Could I ask a question from all you experts?
Of course.
I'm working on a book on James Inglis, the Montreal photographer, but he was in Rochester making dry plates. But actually, this was something that Bob Lansdale put me onto. But I don't quite understand it. There was an issue with George Eastman, a photographer from Elora, Ontario, who claims to have invented kind of the precursor, I guess, to film. It was something called a paper negative, and it was like evidently a strip film. Does anybody know what that means, a paper negative? Like he claims that this was the only interaction that James Inglis had that I found directly when he was talking about George Eastman. And he was visited by this guy Connon, Connon, John Connon.
From Elora, yes.
Yeah, from Elora. And John Connon thought that he had his own invention of this kind of film strip of paper negatives, which was eventually piked by George Eastman. And so basically there was a fairly well-known guy called Walker who worked with Inglis for a while, but then went on to Eastman. And Inglis claimed that Walker had been to Toronto and had seen this, this strip stuff, and then talked to George Eastman. He then quit Inglis's factory to work on this with George Eastman. And I think it's some kind of precursor to film. But it's called a paper negative. It's like, I think, a paper strip. But does anybody have a clue how that would work?
Well, Bob Lansdale did a very small article about paper negatives, but the manufacturer in that case was Gordon, uh, who made a box camera, big size box camera, but big enough that you could store a packet of paper negatives in the back, right? You'd reach in through this sort of fabric glove and yeah. Paper negatives aren't, that weird. It's, I guess. I didn't realize that Inglis had a claim. I don't know the history of paper negatives.
No, Inglis didn't invent it. He just was this guy John Connon visited with Inglis. And he claimed that that John Connon or his father invented this thing. And that because Walker had visited, so Inglis said, because Walker had visited Toronto, he got the idea and then went and joined Eastman to produce these things. I think they were kind of a precursor of roll film.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So how does that work? A paper negative? Is it just like a paper negative in the old style? I mean,
yeah, you could produce a paper negative right now if you wanted to. What you need is paper, normal printing paper, and of course you want to find one that isn't Kodak because Kodak has the stuff written on the back. Professional paper by Kodak or paper by Kodak or something like that. And thinner, lightweight paper is better because your image will be sharper. So into your film holder, whatever you're using, it's easier to do like a 4x5 or an 8x10. Put your sheet of paper in the holder instead of a sheet of film.
Right.
Process it normally.
No, we would have to put some chemical on the paper itself, though.
Not
to make it light sensitive.
Only because remember the paper is already light sensitive.
Oh,
you're using
Opening out paper.
yeah, well, or sensitize the paper.
But weren't there early? I thought it was Kodak that the early films were stripping films, where they stripped the emulsion right off the backing. And this was done. It was physically possible, some magic of cooling and heating, that they pulled the emulsion with the image right off the backing and put it on something else. I think that's the process, and they're called stripping films. And don't they do that in movies too? Or maybe they did this in early, I don't know, but I've read about this process. I'm just not sure whether it was Kodak that used them before they had like cellulose backing.
And the guy in Elora would probably be interested because he did a circuit camera.
Was that the same guy?
He invented, yes, that was the thesis was about.
That's right.
It was like a camera that did panorama.
But in the early days of photography with Talbot's negatives were paper negatives.
Correct.
Yes.
And what he would do, he would wax the paper to increase the transparency. And that process was also used in France, and it gave a different ambiance or pictorial feel to the prints that were made from those negatives. They weren't as sharp as, and then eventually, you had glass plate negatives on glass, ambrotypes, but they're also used as negatives. And eventually, toward the turn of the century, you had film, gelatin film. But it's interesting that this conversation has evolved to using paper negatives for film or movies or whatever, but it definitely has a different feel to it, much more of an artistic representation.
Indeed, that was the effect, Erwin. A very sort of
kind of soft,
wispy, willowy, ethereal, foggy not foggy, but sort of almost like a magical.
Was that salt prints? Was it salt prints?
Yes.
Yeah.
because they had that soft, glowing,
Yeah.
beautiful appearance.
But I hadn't heard of it in connection with making strips of film, kind of precursors to film. That was actually first done on paper somehow. That film was done on paper, and that George Eastman used it at some point because they claim like this was as late as about 30 years later. Conan was still complaining that these things were
Really?
stolen from him. There was also some kind of camera, panoramic camera that Conan invented that
Yes, he did.
again, he didn't make any money on. But my interest is in the connection. It's one of the rare connections when James Inglis, working in Rochester making dry plates, was commenting at all about George Eastman. They were together in a price fixing scheme where all the dry plate people got together to fix the price of dry plates because the price was going down. So that's the only connection between Inglis, George Eastman, and a bunch of other dry plate people. But I hadn't found any connection where Inglis commented on George Eastman. And because the Conans were friends of theirs, they came from Elora, and Inglis originally was from Mildmay or Carrick County, which is not that far. They were still maintaining a friendship over many years, even though Inglis was in Rochester by that time. So that was where my interest was, the connection between Inglis and Eastman. So, but I didn't know what this paper negative stuff was. So thank you for clarifying that.
We try.
We have a lot of photographic knowledge in this Zoom space.
Indeed, we do.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. And I want to thank everyone who's come tonight to enjoy the presentation, and of course, each and every one of our presenters. This was fantastic. Great start to 2024.
Thank you for setting it up, Celio.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, no problem.
For persevering.
Right.
Well, I am going to now turn off the recording. I'm going to stop recording. And as soon as you hear the prompt, you may resume your Sailor Talk